park. And we're about to have a campfire. But before we do, we have to review the campfire safety rules. Now remember, we learned about fire safety way back at the beginning of the year. So we're just going to review some rules that you might already know. But this also has to do exclusively with having a campfire. So number 1 says, pick a safe spot. You can use a fire pit, or you can find a spot in some dirt to dig a hole, put some rocks around it. Just make sure you don't have a tree above you or any dry brush nearby. So you can see we have our fire pit all ready to go here. So we're going to use the fire pit, and there's no brush around it or any extra wood or anything that can catch fire.
Can we have a fire yet?
Not yet, Camden. Remember, only have a fire with an adult present. Since I'm still moving around the campsite and setting things up, it's not a good time to have a fire. So make sure you only have a campfire when there's an adult or a grown-up around.
Can't wait to throw this in the fire.
No, no, no. There's not going to be any throwing of anything in the fire. The only thing that goes in the campfire is wood. So rule number 3 is do not throw anything into the fire. It's not safe. Sorry, Ash.
Tag, you're it. Nope. You're it. Tag, you're it. No.
Boys, that is not safe to do. Rule number 4 is stay seated around the fire. No running around the fire or playing in it or near it. I don't want any of you to fall or trip and accidentally get burned. So remember, no running around the fire. You can only stay seated.
I agree, Camp. I think I'm going to go to bed too.
Before we turn in for the night, we have to make sure we put the fire out. So we're going to use a bucket of water to douse the fire. And if it's still glowing or still burning, we need to get more water and splash it again. You can also use a shovel once you've done that to move around anything that's been burning in the fire, any of the embers, to make sure it's not glowing anymore and that the fire is completely out. So rule number 5, put out the fire with a bucket of water. Make sure the fire is all the way out.
I think I'm going to go to bed now.
Yeah,
Night,
me
Camp.
too.
Wait! You can't go to bed and leave the fire unattended. Remember, never leave a fire unattended. That means there should always be someone around to keep an eye on the fire to make sure it stays safe and contained. Now that you know the campfire safety rules, you can have a fire. That way you can make fun things like roasted marshmallows or s'mores, or just keep warm around the fire. Now we're going to check in with a friend of mine to learn a recipe for a snack that is just like s'mores. Hello and welcome to a special episode of wait a minute, what show? We're on Missus Phillips Camp Kindergarten, and I am, as usual, your tiny hand chef. I love camping. I love it. And we're learning so much about camping. So I want to share with you one of my favorite recipes, which is like s'mores, but since you're a child, you're probably not allowed to be around fire much. So if you can't be around the fire, you can make s'mores in another way. So let's look at what is that sound? I thought we were in Yellowstone. My goodness. Well, here in Yellowstone National Park, we're going to make my favorite s'more snack. So let's look at the ingredients. To make this snack, all you need are 3 dry ingredients. The first is golden graham cereal. The second is chocolate chips. They're tiny hands, that's not it. There you go, chocolate chips. And the third are miniature marshmallows. That means tiny marshmallows, which I'm a fan of tiny things because I've got tiny hands. Now it's time to mix up our ingredients. So let's get started. closer. Nope, that's not it. Poor tiny hands. Oh, you found it. Drop, not the whole ball. There you, dump it in. Oh, excellent job, tiny hands. Now that the golden graham cereal are in, we're going to add our chocolate chips. So we need to grab our chocolate chips. Oh, tiny hands, you've almost got it. Your tiny hands are wonderful. Okay, dump it in all at once, all at once. Keep going. Almost. You've got to scrape it out. Oh, goodness. Yes, oh, it's melty. Oh, it's going to be tasty, but it's melty. That's all right. Throw it in. Okay. Oh, well, sometimes we have a food flop. That's what this might be. Let's move on. Time for the marshmallows. You stacked the silly balls, tiny hands. Okay. Now we're going to add the marshmallows into the ball, tiny hands. Focus. You need to focus. Dump it in. Scrape it out. Scrape them. Come on, get your fingers in there. Now toss it in. Tiny hands is having a hard time today. It's a little slow. Excellent. Now we're ready to mix. We're going to use our hands, so mix, tiny hands. Stir. Mix it around. Give it a good stir. Oh my good. Keep it in the bowl, tiny hands. All right, now I need a little taste. Let me have a taste. It's so delicious. Let me see. Almost. Try again. Almost. Now it's time to serve. Now that I've made my s'more snack, I'm ready to serve it to my family around the campfire. So let's serve it up. Let's put it in a bag. Now, tiny hands, get in there. Put it in a bag for everybody to enjoy. Excellent job. Now, I want to tell you, I might not see you for a while. I'm going to be traveling the United States of America. This is going to be my last episode for a while, but I want you to have a fabulous summer. And I love you so much. Now, make sure you try my s'mores recipe. Now, tiny hands, let me have a bite of that one more time. It's so melty. Thank you. Thank you for tuning in and have a great night. Wow, I really love checking in with our tiny hand chef, and I hope she has a fabulous summer traveling the United States. I'm sure she'll see some of these national parks and some of the American symbols that we've been learning about. I hope you learned a lot about different campfire safety rules. Just remember, be safe around fires and make sure you're with a grown-up if you're gonna be near a campfire. Have a great night.